What's going on, people? I would like to hopefully briefly show you something that you might not have seen before or you might not know. Now, this is concerning the spirit, the nature, the energy of homosexuals and lesbians. Now, when it comes to homosexuality and lesbianism, or the spirit of that, it did not just begin here on earth. This was before the world actually began. Now, this may be a shock to many of you, but that spirit existed before the world began. Okay? It goes back to the Garden of Eden, and I spoke on this in previous videos, where evil has always been around. Demonic forces have always been around. See, in the garden was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. See, Adam and Eve were not aware of evil or even the fact that they were naked until they had disobeyed the Most High and taken of that tree of the knowledge of good and evil, which tells you that evil had always existed even before the world began. Now, you may hear quite a few people that may appear to be homophobic, as you call them, or you may think hate gays, because they will refer to gays as, or the spirit of homosexuals, not the person or individual, but the spirit of that individual. You might get upset or misunderstand what they're saying when they refer to them as demons. Okay? Now, I want to share something with you from the Gnostic scriptures, the Nag Hammadi libraries. See, because you have to realize or understand that when you look at the Bible or the Torah or the Gospels or even the book of Revelation, those are not complete books. There were books that were excluded from the Bible, the Apocrypha. Okay, and even when it comes to the Apocrypha, all the books are not there. But this is the Nag Hammadi library. I would recommend that you get this book. It's quite interesting. And there's a chapter in it that's titled The Origin of the Worlds. Okay, which I would recommend strongly that you read this. Now, this is information that you are not going to hear, and that's not going to be taught in the churches. Now, see, if I had time, I would go through this very thorough, and it would take some time. You know, now, my camera, for some reason, shuts off at 23 minutes. Okay, so I'm going to try to get in as much as I can. Now, I want to read a little bit from the Nag Hammadi library regarding the origins of the world. And it even talks about how the Most High was established in the position of the Most High. See, people ask, like, you know, who is the Most High? Where did he come from? Who's over him? Things of that nature. Where did he come from? You know, so those answers are in this book. Okay, this is information that is not taught, and you won't hear it taught in churches because it overthrows a lot of the Christian teachings. Okay, and a lot of teachings that you receive in the Christian church doesn't necessarily mean that it comes from the Bible or the scriptures. Now, you have people that would twist and, you know, make the scriptures to be what they want it to be, to justify them lives or their own lives, or to heed to people's itching ears. Okay, but it's not rightly divided or is taken out of context. Now, I'm going to read a portion of this to you. Bear with me because it's late and I'm a little exhausted. Okay, now it says, now Pista Sophia, which is wisdom, okay, or now Pista Sophia set him apart from the darkness and summoned him to her light. Okay, this is talk about Yah the Boeth, which is the Most High. And the prime parent she put at her feet. Since day, right has been called justice, and left called wickedness, right and left. Okay. Now, because of this, they all received a realm, meaning cosmos, in the congregation of justice and wickedness. And then there's like some little dots where there's information that's missing. Stand upon the creature. And then it says, thus when the prime parents of chaos saw his son Sabaoth and the glory that he was in, and perceived that he was greatest of all the authorities of chaos, he envied him. Okay, now this is, you got to keep in mind that this is all before the world as we know it began, or as this earth was created. Okay, now this goes into creation, and some things that you find in this book you won't find in the Bible. Now you got to also keep in mind that this is speaking from a totally different realm of existence, a totally different level of life that's not on this earth. Okay, so that's why I say you can't take offense to when somebody referred to you or the spirit of homosexuality and lesbianism as demonic. Okay, I'm gonna show you why according to the Nag Hammadi Library. Okay, Yemidi, and having become wrathful or angry, he engendered death out of his death. Okay, now this is jealousy of the Most High. Okay, it gets deep, and you got to go back and read from the beginning to fully understand what's going on here. So, but I'm just reading a small part of it. Okay, where he engendered death out of his death, and he, meaning death, was established over the sixth heaven. For Sabaoth has been snatched up from there. Okay, he's been snatched up to the eighth heaven. And thus the number of the six authorities of chaos was achieved. Then death, being androgynous, mingled with his own nature. Death mingled with his own nature. Death mingled with his own nature. So we would interpret that as male, homosexuality. Okay, he mingled with his own nature and begot. Now keep in mind, because you know two men cannot conceive a child. They can't beget anything. Okay, so this is speaking from a spirit realm. Now when we speak of spirituality, we're not speaking spookism or immaterial beings, things that you can't see. This is on a totally different level. Now I'm going to do another video on extraterrestrials, which is also in the scriptures. Okay, but right now we're dealing with these androgynous beings mingled with his own nature and begot 7 androgynous offspring. Okay, this is spiritual, keep in mind. These are the names of the male ones. Jealousy. Okay, now when you think of these attributes, I'm going to call them, think of the nature or how homosexuals display their emotions or their feelings. And even when it comes to lesbians, these are the male ones: jealousy, wrath, tears, sighing, suffering, lamentation, bitter weeping. And then it says, and these are the names of the female ones: wrath, pain, lust, sighing, curse, bitterness, quarrelsomeness. And then it says they had intercourse with one another. This is in the spirit realm. Keep in mind, you can't think flesh when you study this. Notice, study, not just read over it. When you study this, they had intercourse with one another, and each one begot 7, so that they amount to 49 androgynous demons. See, all of these attributes are considered demons. These are actual, this is actual alive energy. Okay, this energy is alive. It's a being. Okay, they're androgynous demons. So these are the type of attributes or energies that are occupying the flesh of people that consider themselves homosexuals, lesbians, or bisexuals. Okay, now I know there's people that's going to be bothered by what I'm saying, okay, but according to the Nag Hammadi library, the Gnostic scriptures, and these are scriptures that were excluded from the Bible, okay, so the Bible is not a complete book. So even those that's trashing the Bible and question a lot of things that's going on in the Bible, you got to realize that the church can only teach you so much because they only know so much, and most preachers don't allow themselves to go beyond a certain level of information and knowledge. If it's not from the King James Version of the Bible, they don't want to hear it. Okay, now to end this, their names and their effects will you find in the book of Solomon. It talks about Solomon. And okay, and then it says, and in the presence of these, Zoe, who was with Sabaoth, created 7 good androgynous forces. Notice it called it forces. It didn't refer to it as demons, but forces. These are the names of the male ones: the unenvious, the blessed, the joyful, the true, the unbegrudging, the beloved, the trustworthy. Also as regard the female ones, these are their names: peace, gladness, rejoicing, blessedness, truth, love, faith, meaning pistis. Pistis means faith. And from these there are many good and innocent spirits. So you're going to find that when these forces or the energies clash or collide, okay, it's going to create friction. You're not going to be able to get along with them. Okay, and like I was explaining to someone earlier, that's why you find that light and darkness cannot mix. They cannot coexist together. There's going to be confusion. There's going to be problems. Okay, and you're going to have one or the other that's going to try to convert the others. See, it's just like you have a lot of good kids out there, a lot of good young people out there that fit that description as being good and innocent. But then they'll hang around people that are doing things that are not so innocent because they want to fit in. They want people to like them. They don't want to be bullied, because you're going to have those that envy the good and innocent spirits. You're going to have those that's going to envy them. Just like in the case of the Nag Hammadi library. And so they're going to harass them. They're going to stalk them. They're going to bully them. Okay, there's going to be conflict. The girl that's got the long hair and it's her natural hair, you're going to have the ones that are going to go behind her and pull her hair. Going to talk about how, she thinks she's better than everybody else, but you can't hang with us, and all that other nonsense. So the girl, to keep from them harassing her and pulling her hair, she hangs out with these girls. And then as time go on, you notice she start taking on the same characteristic traits are the girls that were doing evil and that was envying her. And jealousy. And that's where a lot of this jealousy and hatred come from. Okay. But like I said, I want to keep this short because I can go into different avenues. I'm trying to keep this short I can. So I want you guys to check out this book, the Nag Hammadi Library. And so when you refer to someone, those of you who are living homosexual lifestyles, usually when someone referred to you, or not so much as you as a person in the flesh, but the spirit that's controlling you as demonic, you're going to take offense to that, but it's not directed or aimed at you personally. It's just like in the scriptures, whenever Yeshua cast out a devil, he never spoke to the individual person. He spoke to the spirit that was occupying that person, that human body. He spoke to the spirit. He spoke past the natural mind of the individual person. but spoke to the spirit. And a lot of times, if you read the scriptures, it tells you that those spirits spoke back using the vocal cords, using the tongue of the person that it was possessing. So a lot of times when your kids act out, your family members, your friends, or people you know act out against you, and a lot of times it's not so much as them that's acting out or speaking out against you, but it's that spirit that's possessing their body. Okay? And that's why sometimes you used to hear me referred to as the spirit of a woman possessing the body of a man, and vice versa. You find the spirit of a man possessing the body of a woman. So you have a woman that is acting out as a man, and then you have this man acting out as a woman, and they have the characteristic, the personality traits, the attributes of a woman or of a man. Okay, so feedback this video, tell me what you think. I'm going to be doing a video about extraterrestrials, and it's not spookism, because when it comes to extraterrestrial, it's also in the scriptures. See, there's stuff that's in the scripture that a lot of people don't take time out to study. They rather bash it. But the information is right there in the scriptures. So feedback, tell me what you think. Until next time, I'm fearless.